what you should know about the CSEC Family and Resource Management exam. So basically, if you'll be sitting this exam this year basically, right? So I have a video about how to get a grade 1 in CSEC Family and Resource Management. So if you're interested, I will link it down below and you can go ahead and check out that video. But basically today we're talking about what you need to know about the exam. So basically, from the get-go, before we get into the exam, ensure that your practicals for family and resource management are completed. Ensure you finish your practicals then, right? So ensure you finish your practicals and you know that you get a good grade on each of your practicals, and ensure that you completed your portfolio. Because if you make the entire 2 years grade 10 and 11 pass you and you need to do your portfolio pieces then you're in a problem. Because usually at least when I remember when we used to do it, is like the teacher would give a certain amount, or basically you get a time when she need them by, right? So you'd go and fill up your portfolio or whatever, and then she would kind of like mark them, right? Like mark them in segments or whatever. So you don't want to be the person where exam come up and you can say, you know much portfolio pieces I never did put in or I never did do because you're just too lazy. So you don't want to be one of those persons, right? So ensure that your portfolio is good, ensure that your practicals were good, and yeah, that's basically what you need going into the exam. So if you're knowing yourself, so listen, I did do good for my practicals them, and I did also do good on my my portfolio pieces them, then we good. Because if you keep on get a low grade on the portfolio pieces them, you not go turn out good at all. And if you're going at the practicals unprepared, you get a low grade, right? So yeah, so now let's get into the exam. So for the exam, you have a paper 1 and you have a paper 2. So the paper 1 is going to be 6 MCQ, and you basically get 1 hour and 30 minutes to answer the questions. And then the paper 2 is going to be 2 hours and 30 minutes, right? So 2 hours and 30 minutes, and it's free response. So for CSEC Family and Resource Management, past papers are very, very scarce, because when I do it, as I said before in the other video, in the foods video, when I do it, the only past papers you kind of see is past papers that my teacher did give me. Because if you go online or you search it up, it's going to be so scarce to find past papers for CSEC Family and Resource Management. Very, very scarce, right? So they're hard to find, right? And for example, like English and maths, they circulate a lot and everybody have them. But for family and resource management, especially since it's a technical subject, they're kind of rare, right? So if your teacher have it, may assume the teacher will give them to you. Or if you know somebody that have them, then you can ask them for it. Just me don't know anybody. No, me personally, me don't have them. As a matter of fact, whatever past papers, but it actually have me not, and like except I did don't CSEC, me did kind of just dash them away. But did that, like, we did actually have a whole pan, like a big pan of book and something like that. And me never throw the books them, but me dash the paper them. But it just have to declutter the paper them. But basically, yeah. So you have so you need past papers. So if your teacher have them, like, basically you just need to see how the questions are structured, especially for the paper 2. So now for the paper 1, it's going to be 6 MCQ. Now the questions are going to be very much straightforward, and these questions for the paper 1 are going to come from the entire syllabus, right? So the best thing that I would say to help you prepare, obviously use your notes then, but there's a textbook called we called family, I don't remember the name of the textbook, but basically that textbook me actually use. Basically my teacher literally that teach from the book. Like, it was a book that me never rent it. Obviously, yeah, me did get one for rent, and then me said no man, the one they give me for rent not really stay good. Like, it kind of does, I don't know if it's because it follow maybe like an older syllabus or whatever, but some things in it never really relate to the course, relate to the subject, what would I do? And somebody ended up buy a book. I went name home management. It is a home management or something like that. On the front of the book, but basically, me don't know that book right now. But basically, that was the book that me use, and literally when COVID did come in and my teacher teach, is literally the book she teach from, directly from the book. So media may and every textbook and me could have follow, because I'm really see each year teach from. So basically, yeah, so if you have that textbook and Me wish me not even remember who write the book. Maybe it's Rita Dyer, one of the people that write it. But me think maybe that. But basically, I don't remember if it's a Collins book or what. But basically, home management. That book they basically have everything in there, like from money, consumerism, all of them something there. Like those are the more technical stuff. And you know that in home management, the first part of the course really just about family and types of families. You know, the easier stuff we're more likely to remember. As I go to the back, you start getting a little bit more technical, consumerism, money and all these different things, plastic money and all these things kind of come in, right? So, and these different bureaus and organizations and stuff like that, you need to know them. So that's why you need that textbook, right? So if you have it in your notes, me advise you read your notes when you're taking a class, as well as if you have the textbook, work with the textbook as well. And just that's how you can prepare, because that paper one is going to cover the entire syllabus. You can't even get around it. And I think the year I sit it did ask something about some bureau. I didn't even remember what the question is about, but it asked about like what organization was responsible for blah blah blah, or what bureau. I remember when it asked something along that lines, the question that asked about. But I'm sure you know the different organizations. Just ensure say you go through the syllabus. So the syllabus is literally your best friend along with the textbooks. Ensure say you go through the syllabus and ensure that you cover all the topics them, right? So you cannot go into the paper 2 exam and things say, oh, then it's like asking about the family. You have to prepare for the other technical stuff and the other things them that you might not know, basically, right? So going in there, ensure you read your syllabus. So the syllabus is going to let you know what exactly is coming on the exam. Obviously, within that 2 hours and 30 minutes on the paper 2, them can't step on into your syllabus, but at the same time you don't know what is coming. You don't know what is coming, and you don't want it to be a case where when you go into that exam, something where you never study company, because you're gonna lose marks. You're gonna lose marks because you don't know. So you don't get marks for whenever you write on the paper. So you have interest, you know something. My advice, know something about every topic in the syllabus. Know something about it, because you cannot go into the exam and let's just say a particular topic, or maybe something about money, and let's just say you completely ignore that topic and even look for money, and or maybe setting a table or something like that, and you did never pay it no mind. You go into the exam and it's like you're clueless. You don't know what you write. You're lost from A to Z. You're lost completely. Ensure you know something about every topic, where even if you're not sure what the question I ask you can make an educated guess. You know what I mean? So read that. Yes, that textbook don't talk about, that textbook there is good. Come here, tell us say the teacher literally does say that teach. Like when every time we, especially when COVID did come in and we are joining online, every time she open her mouth and talk is right from the textbook. She literally read right from the textbook. I'm gonna say, oh, really? Or she makes somebody else read from the textbook or whatnot. But basically, that's what you use, and many of them get a grade 1 from it. But basically, ensure say you use the syllabus, ensure say it's a textbook. And an important part in preparing for the paper 2 of this exam is knowing definitions. And knowing definitions and knowing how to explain. Because something like what is consumerism can just pop up on the paper and you say, I wonder what this even means, right? So things like that you need to know and you need to prepare for. Ensure you know the various definitions them, and don't just study the family and feel like a family alone a company exam, because it's family and resource management is so much more than just the family. It goes on into other technical things like money and plastic money and all them. Look something there with debit card, credit card, we call it layaware or higher purchase, whatever you want to be. The different topics them that might come in there, you have to ensure say you know everything, you know something about everything, so you're able to answer the questions at the exam, right? So past papers are basically, I would say that those are your best friend. If you can find them, use them to prepare for your exam, since that them basically help you. And another thing you can use in the exam too is to use the process of elimination. So if you go into the paper 1, this one will work with the paper 1. So if you go into the paper 1, you see A, B, C, D, and you're not sure what the answer, let's just say you remember what the word even mean. Process of elimination. Read the word and say which one yours could never be it. And you take time and you just eliminate, and you say, you know what, it's between these two, one of them may have to be the answer. So you do any minimum anymore, you take an educated guess and you just pick one. Right? And also paper 2, back to paper 2 now, don't leave anything blank. Right? Listen, family and resource management is not the exam if you leave anything blank in. It's a fairly easy exam if you pay attention during the 2 years where you do the subject, right? If you pay attention on grade 10 and grade 11, even if you never what if I say, as long as you pay some attention, you can't fail the subject. If you fail family and resource management, it's like you really did that trying. There's no way you can do all those practicals, portfolio pieces, and go in there and get a grade 4 or grade 5 or grade 6. The least you can get is a grade 3, which may feel like say a grade 1 is attainable in the exam if you're going there and know majority of the syllabus, and you have to remember the definition. And this is one thing too, when you're remembering definitions, you have to remember it from the book exactly. You have to remember it down to the T, because when you study, if you force your brain to remember it exactly word for word, your brain might just scrap it completely and say, listen, this is too hard, I don't remember this word for word. When you're studying, try to actually understand and say, oh, I know exactly what this means. And you can say it in your own words. But if you force your brain to remember that is a ba 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 ba, your brain is going to scrap it completely. And that happened to me before, where me did a trick. And the thing about it is that I read this something 4 or 5 times. I studied 4 or 5 times. And I tell myself, say, me know it. Look how much time I say it. But because me have forced myself to remember it word for word without no understanding, it now we're good at all. Okay, I go to jail when I exam and forget it. But basically, remember your definitions, use the process of elimination. It's a fairly easy exam. Just go into the exam very much prepared, right? And just do your best. Just do your best. Use any past papers that you get. Use your textbook. Use the syllabus. YouTube is your best friend. If there is anything on YouTube, you can search for it and try and find it. It will also help. Also, get rid of any distractions, social media, anything will not help you prepare for your exams. Scrap it completely. That is my advice. Anyway, this is the end of this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.